Well, hopefully you guys get some more help because I know I'm a big fan of my local spots, and I'm sure everybody in your hometown is as well. I want to sort of stress the importance of these small restaurants, and so I want to explore with you, what role food and culture can play, especially in the country's racial reckoning right now.
I think, it's such a deeply complex issue. For me, when I opened Garland, it's almost been 8 years. Uh, I really struggled so hard with the identity of the restaurant. What category is it? I really my motivation and my creative inspiration comes from our local ingredients. And it also comes from me studying parts of India and Asia that I don't really know about. I mean, it's not like, well, I grew up in India for 8 years. I lived in this one town. I know everything about Indian food. That's not even like remotely true. It's like saying somebody in Sicily is required to know everything about German food. It's just not practical. But I think there is I'm not sure what the word is, like a one dimensionaling of people of color when it comes to expression of. So, somebody from China, even though they might have grown up in America, if they open a restaurant, there's somewhat of an expectation that they're going to represent their entire heritage and their culture. And you feel that about yourself too. Like, am I being true to my mom's recipes? Am I being true to my grandmother's recipes? There's all this internal struggle that I don't think anybody who identifies as Caucasian in this country ever has to worry about it. There could be somebody who grew up in Iowa and, is multi-generational white, and they decide to study Asian and Indian food, and they'd be hailed as being super creative. Whereas if I try to, incorporate other parts of Asia or even Southern traditions, sort of like, what am I? Like, what Yelp category do I put down? What category on Facebook am I allowed to say? Can I say that I'm New American? I don't know. Then people are going to expect to have certain things on the menu. There's So, I mean, that's just like one example of how rigid people think about, food. And I think, hopefully, in the last year, we're starting to see that racial identity and roles are not boxes. This is a fluid culture, and that is the beauty of our culture. As long as we keep everybody in a box, we're never going to get out of this. I think, kind of dark time. It's really crucial that we welcome people into this country like we always have. And then when we get them here, that they're allowed to forge an identity for themselves that feels right to them. And then also kind of uh, ripens our entire culture. And then on the other side of it, there's a certain level of distrust that I had from, you know, partners that I thought were my friends who decided that a restaurant should be profitable in 6 weeks. And told me that I was too emotional about my business. And, I was like, oh my God, maybe I am. Maybe I'm supposed to be more like, black and white and like very pragmatic about everything. And, it took me several months of like an internal struggle to say, no, me being emotional about my business is what gives me the fire and the passion to really own it. And I can be pragmatic about the numbers, but I cannot be pragmatic about the vision that I have for my restaurant and for my business. Um, and that was something that was really isolating for me because I didn't know who to ask if it was okay for me to feel so emotional about it. I live and breathe this business. And that is what actually helped me save the business several times over in moments of utter terror and despair. And that's what really fuels me now. So I think there are a lot of comfort levels that we don't get to have as non-male identifying, non-white identifying people. And I'm not saying that it's the same for me as it is for a Black person who has grown up in this country and seen a different level or had a different experience. But there is an othering that we have to come to terms with. And I think food is the most it's an olive branch. It's a way of inviting a willing participant into that conversation without it being overtly about that conversation, I guess.